صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers, inshallah all is well. Today's lecture will be about Salat Al-Layl, how to pray Salat Al-Layl, and the benefits and virtues of Salat Al-Layl. Before we begin our lecture, inshallah, I'd like to introduce our brother Ali to recite some words of the Holy Quran about the Salat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أم يقولون افترى على الله كذبا فإن يشاء الله يختم على قلبك ويمحو الله الباطل ويحق الحق بكلماته إنه عليم بذات الصدور. وهو الذي يقبل التوبة عن عباده ويعفو عن السيئات ويعلم ما تفعلون. ويستجيب الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات ويزيدهم من فضله والكافرون لهم عذاب شديد. ولو بسط الله الرزق لعباده لبغوا في الأرض ولكن ينزل بقدر ما يشاء إنه بعباده خبير بصير. وهو الذي ينزل الغيث من بعد ما قنطوا وينشر رحمته وهو الولي الحميد. ومن آياته خلق السماوات والأرض وما بث فيهما من دابة وهو على جمعهم إذا يشاء قدير. وما أصابكم من مصيبة فبما كسبت أيديكم وأكيد فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان رحم الله من قرأ السورة المباركة الفاتحة معطرة بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
Hassan, Brother Ali, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. Inshallah, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our dear brother, scholar, mentor, and guide, inshallah, Sheikh Mohammad Ayat, with 3 lots of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يا الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Thank you for attending tonight's lecture about the power of Salat Al-Layl and the secrets of the night. I know many people are busy with the what we call it Halloween. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to his straight path, as we say. And Ajarakumullah for being able to come and seek some knowledge this night. We're waiting just for the brother to turn on the projector. Yes. علي عفوا جعفر بس restart it. Okay, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, the one who created and designed everything, the utmost perfection, the one who created his external signs in the universe, the day and the night. And he said there is special signs in the daytime and there is special signs and secrets in the nighttime. So night vigil, tahajjud or salat al-layl. Let's forgive me that haram some brothers and sisters, they are waiting on Zoom. So just technical difficulties, I know. It's not common, but okay, guys. It's good to remember something from tonight's lecture. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. As we were saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created these signs, the day and the night, ayatan, they are signs of Allah's greatness, and they hold within them secrets. And as believers, we are trying to absorb whether in the daytime or the nighttime. But we don't talk much about night and the secrets of the night and the spirituality of the night. Even though, in my humble perspective, majority of mystics and scholars and those who went through the spiritual path, purifying the heart, cleaning the mind, trying to uncover the veils of darkness, to access the veils of light, they did it because of the night. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, I remember one of the narrations before the quotation of Al-Mahdi. He said that believers will never attain the true righteousness until they ride the night. Al-Layl. You know, they use it for horses to run, for speed. So Imam al-Hasan al-Askari said the night, meaning praying all night, reciting Quran at night time, connecting in night time. And we all know the Isra al-Mi'raj, the ascension trip of the Prophet, that he went to the skies, it happened at night. So we have a lot of tradition of the night. But how Satan switched the night, transformed the night. Without now spending time with Allah at night time, now night became what? Nightlife. Clubs, music, dancing, drinking, watching movies. I'm not saying that watching movies is haram, but we are losing our energy in things that we will never find any benefit if we didn't find harm on Judgment Day. And despite that, now we're focusing on Salat Al-Layl. We will start with this verse, Allah in Surah Al-Isra, verse 79. He said, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً عَسَى لَكَ عَسَى أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. And during part of the night, keep awake by it as an additional prayer for you. Perhaps your Lord will raise you to a praiseworthy station. The praiseworthy station, it is an effect of the layl, and during part of the night, fatahajjad. So tahajjud will lead to maqam mahmud. Now some scholars said that maqam mahmud is the highest station in God's eye. There is no being that is able to reach that station except Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is maqam al-mahmuda, what Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, that the Prophet, through that, he will be able to intercede for those who committed major sins from his nation. Yani Muhammad is Muhammad because of the night. Night made Muhammad. Worshipping in night time. When we say during prayer in tashahhud, وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ, before what? Rasul. So he was a abd before he became a messenger. And this ibadah, subhanAllah, he reached the highest level of ibadah because of the night. Right. Now continuing, okay, saying and technology, we'll have to do like a lecture about that. In the normal hadith, it's narrated as well, he is not one of us who does not perform the night prayer. ليس منا من لم يصلي صلاة الليل. This statement, brief yet profound, identifies the night prayer not as a mere recommendation, but as a mark of true belonging, a seal of sincerity among the followers of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. That the ones who really are claiming that they know Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and they don't pray Salat al-Layl as if we're fooling ourselves here. You prove that you know them when you're attracted, influenced, inspired to pray Salat al-Layl, at least not every single night. To be practical, my teacher was very practical and realistic. He said, at least pray Salat al-Layl Thursday nights. But mashallah, you come to, even though my teacher was against, in a way, not against, but he preferred Laylat al-Jum'ah at the mosque to be just spiritual. And for dua, dhikr, ibadah. And you can replace, if, for example, Salat al-Layl need 15 minutes, but now we listen to a lecture 15 minutes. Replace that with Salat al-Layl. You know that you can pray Salat al-Layl after Isha prayer, right? Salat al-Layl time begins after Isha. And now the best time is the third, مثل ما بيقولوا, the third portion of the night. That's the best time to pray Salat al-Layl. We agree, but you're still able to pray Salat al-Layl after what? After Isha prayer. Do you know now something more shocking? The only prayer in Islam that it's recommended for you to pray it in daytime is Salat al-Layl. Salat al-Layl recommended prayer, right? Mustahab prayer. Still we have narrations that states it's mustahab to do qada for what? Not for wajib prayer, for Salat al-Layl. I had a friend who used to pray Salat al-Layl laying down on his bed before he sleeps. You're able to pray mustahab prayers while walking, by the way, or laying down. Yes. And I can go more in depth. Some people, while they're brushing their teeth, they are saying the words. It's weird sometimes, but there's a lot of ways for me to pray it. If really I have the intention, I will do it. And Allah will accept that. Allah is allowing me to pray it in any way, shape or form. Now there's no doubt that remembrance bigger and reflection thicker are the two mounds of the traveler journeying toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through them one reaches the ultimate goal, knowledge and worship. Fikr knowledge, dhikr worship. Whoever is granted his share of both, supported by the divine grace of Allah Almighty, has truly taken the lead in the race of obedience servitude. Whoever neglects either has failed and lost in proportion to that deficiency for his determination, will fall short for reaching the destination. Levels of worship. We have a book called the War between the army of Rahman versus the army of Shaitan. And imagine you're a general, you're making strategy. You need to create lines of defense, right? Before they attack your base. True? We have such thing in spirituality. If you want to secure the wajib, how you secure the wajib? By mustahab. How you, in a way, create some prevention from haram? By stopping what? Makruh. There is people, they just do wajib and they stay away from haram. They are fine with no mustahab, yes makruh. But easy to be targeted, right? When you add mustahab, you secure the wajib. If someone is always, he does adhan and iqamah for prayer. Well, after prayer, he sits for 10 minutes, tasbihat zahra, sajdatay shukr, ayat al-kursi, ta'qibat. Definitely that person, if one day he was busy, and he just need to pray the prayer without adding any extras, it's easy for him to pray it without any complications. But if someone just used to pray the wajib without adding anything, that person, if he was busy, it will be harder for him to stand and actually do it. It will be more heavier on him. So the same thing goes for the idea of the army of Rahman versus Shaitan. I can assure you, if, inshallah, me and you were able to maintain Salat al-Layl on a daily basis, nothing can break us anymore. If someone prays Salat al-Layl every single day, that person, he's the most strongest individual in the spiritual realm against all the forces of Shaitan. How someone can be such a person affected, his sincerity will not be questioned. Someone waking up at night praying it without anyone knowing. His wajib, it will be so easy. He prayed Salat al-Layl, then definitely secured the wajib and the normal mustahab. And in the words of a lot of mystics and scholars, they said, there is no one who will be able to be accompanied by God's special mercy, which is Rahim, by God's special company, by God's special barakah in his life, without him actually praying Salat. Again, practically, Thursday nights at least start one night a week and the entire month of Ramadan. Right. So act of remembrance and worship vary in importance and desirability. Obligatory fara'id such as the daily prayers with the Sharia does not permit to be neglected. Recommended mustahab, which the law allowed to be omitted, through they remain beloved to Allah. The obligatory acts are the most excellent means by which a servant draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But even though recommended acts are optional, they occupy a lofty rank right after the obligations, for they bring the servant closer to his Creator, refine his soul, and plant divine love in his heart. Let me ask you a question. If I died in the grave, can I ask for mercy for the mandatory acts that I did for the sake of Allah? Usually, let me ask you a question. Usually, why teachers, they, in a way, sometimes they, there's certain students that they get their attention. There's individuals at home, for example, siblings. Usually there's some special members in the family. Those they get the full attention, all the special attention from the parents or the authorities. Do you think they are doing just what is mandatory? Or always these students or members, they always add extras to secure the pleasure of the ones who they are trying to get their attention? So these students in the classroom, they don't do just what they must do. They try to do extra in a way to impress the teacher. True? Or these sons or daughters at home, they try to do extra for their parents in a way to impress them. There's people in this life, they don't like to just do what they are asked to do. They are programmed in a way that they always like to add extra, to be always beyond and above, as we say. That's what's recommended in Islam. That's why Allah made wajib and He made mustahab. Allah did not make mustahab just to make life easy on us. Allah made mustahab to distinguish between those who just want to do things as is versus those who like to add extra, to secure His pleasure, to feel more safe within, that we want to make sure that you love us, that you're pleased, that we will earn your mercy. So in other words, now after I die, if I will be confident in front of Munkar and Nakir in the grave, or in Barzakh facing the angels, or on Judgment Day, if I want to be confident, can I just be confident with the wajib, or when I'm adding the extras? Yes, if someone with the sword of Salat Al-Layl, he will be like one of the most confident spirits after life, because he did things that no one did. And by the way, if you want that self-confidence, you don't just get it by competing with people who have more wealth. By also feeling that you're a special soul living in a certain place. Why we have these narrations that Allah can lift a punishment from a village because of one individual praying Salat al-Layl. So one person is lifting the punishment from the whole. Now, a sacred hadith, a path of nearness, narrated by Hamad ibn Bashir in Al-Kafi, Sheikh al-Kulayni. He said, I heard Abu Abdullah ibn Sadiq alayhi salam saying, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa said, Allah majestic, mighty and majestic said, no servant draws to me with anything more beloved to me than what I have made obligatory upon him. And indeed, my servant continues to draw near to me with voluntary acts, not mandatory. If you want to continue drawing near to Allah, to that lofty stations, Maqam Mahmud, the highest positions, you need to add voluntary acts. Until I love Him. When we add voluntary acts? Until I love Him. When I love him, I become his hearing with which he hears, his sight with which he sees, his tongue with which he speaks, and his hand with which he acts. If he call upon me, I answer him. And if he asks me, I grant him. Your spiritual, your will become attached, mixed with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every choice, every thought, every feeling, every step, it's all guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, He will attract you to the best possible path in your life. And He will make you take the route of the best version of yourself. Or that will take you to the best version of yourself. Priorities or obligations. Imam Ali alayhi salam Najm al-Balagha said there is no closeness to Allah through supererogatory acts when they harm the obligations. And he also said, if the supererogatory act harm the obligation, then abandon them. And this, now for priorities. Wajib definitely is more important than mustahab. Agree. But if I know that I pray Salat al-Layl, but it will prevent me from praying Fajr on time. And some people might stay awake, pray Salat al-Layl, and they won't sleep on Salat, they won't wake up on Salat al-Fajr. Salat al-Fajr on time is more important than Salat al-Layl. Make sense? Keep that in mind. I don't want you, some mystics, they will tell you, or corrupted so-called mystics, they will tell you, go do this spiritual act, or do this physical activity, but that will affect your mandatory. If any individual on the face of the planet told you to do anything that contradicts the Sharia, يعني what is halal, what is haram, what is wajib, then that person is corrupted. Make sense? I'm talking here about the mustahab securing the wajib, not forgetting about the wajib and focusing on the mustahab, because we're talking about night. Many people, if they slept 2 a.m., it's impossible for them to wake up for Salat al-Fajr. But the value of recommended acts. Even among the mustahabbat, there are degrees of importance depending on their effects on the spiritual growth of the believer, the purity of his heart, and his nearness to the divine beloved. The wise believer therefore observes priority among his recommended acts. He focuses on those that are most emphasized in the Sharia. He never neglects or belittles them. That the crown of all nawafil is what? Salat al-Layl. Yeah, now if I want to prioritize a mustahab act after I secure the wajib, with which one I start? With which one? Let me hear it. Which is the most important recommended act in Islam after the wajibat? Salat al-Layl. There is no more important than this. Now without a doubt, the night prayer, Salat al-Layl, tahajjud, standing before Allah in the silence of the night, whispering supplications and engaging in dhikr, is among the most strongly emphasized and beloved of all recommended acts. The Gnostics, Urafat, and godly scholars recognized its importance with utmost seriousness. They preserved it, practiced it consistently, and encouraged others toward it as the path of divine nearness and inner illumination. Why all Ahlul Bayt prayed Salat al-Layl? Why Prophet Muhammad prioritized Salat al-Layl? A call to the living hearts. What follows is a call for every soul that possesses a living heart, for every ear that listens attentively and witness with faith, to rise at night and join the company of those who keep vigilant prayer, remember their Lord in solitude, and never abandon Salat al-Layl under any condition. Now let the night be your ladder to ascend toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your light the light, your heart the light, that guides your steps, and your tears the fragrance of your love for Him. Now the virtue of the night of prayer in the Quran and traditions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the verse that we started with, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. Surah Al-Isra, which means ascension. And during part of the night, keep awake by it as an additional prayer for you. Scholars from this verse, they said that Salat al-Layl for Prophet Muhammad was wajib, for the Prophet himself. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ نَاشِئَةَ اللَّيْلِ هِيَ أَشَدُّ وَطْئًا وَأَقْوَمُ قِيلًا. Indeed, the rising by night is more effective For what? For governing the soul and most suitable for words of devotion. Simply. Someone asked Becky, simply, more people sleeping at night, less sins. The sky is more clear spiritually for the words to ascend. Now, the prophets and angels were all commanded to perform it. The Messenger of Allah said, Jibreel never ceased to advise me about the night prayer until I thought that the best of my nation would not sleep at night except a little. هلا نيجيهم هول عندهم they work night shift, so they are able to pray every night يعني easy, and their schedule will help them. And in his advice to Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Prophet said, adhere to the night prayer, repeating it 4 times. And he repeated this statement, adhere to the night prayer 4 times. Its virtue are beyond comprehension. We summarize the narration. The narration describes Salat Al-Layl as, listen to the words. Every word is mentioned in a hadith, by the way. The honor of the believer. Karamat al-mu'min. Izzat al-mu'min. The practice of the righteous. The protection from disease. A healer of the body. A shield from divine punishment. A breath of divine spirit. A means of attracting Allah's pleasure, a beautifier of character and more. Thus it became the emblem of the friends of Allah, the path of the chosen, and the way of the pious. The followers of Wilayah, nurtured in the school of Ahl-Bayt alayhim salam, are those who rise at night and seek forgiveness from Allah. And remember the reminder, he's not one of us. Yani one of the major signs of a Shia, a follower of Ahl-Bayt, he prayed the night. When the Prophet said he's not one of us, he echoed the standard given by Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, who said, our Shi'as are those who are people of piety and diligence, people of loyalty and trustworthiness, people of asceticism and worship, those who perform 51 rik'ahs of prayer day and night, who stand in prayer at night, fast by day, pay their alms, perform hajj to the sacred house, and avoid every forbidden. The standard that Ahl-Bayt put for the Shias are very high. To be honest with you, the first research I made 3rd year Hausa, and wallah, I wish I didn't do that research. And really, it shocked me, and it shook me to a level that I felt earthquake within, that we are so far from becoming near being Shias. I wish the Sunnis can hear the characteristics and qualities of Shias from the words of Ahl-Bayt. They will change their perspective of Shi'ism. The first research was the qualities and characteristics of Shi'as. I went to the Ahl-Bayt and what they said about Shi'a Shaheed al-Thani focused on such content. He made a book just about Sifat Shi'a. We are not even 5% of what Ahl-Bayt are talking about us. That's why many scholars, they said we are lovers. We are not Shi'as, we are just lovers. To be honest with you, thus the night prayer is a defining mark of the true follower of the Ahl-Bayt, a covenant between the lover and the beloved. Be the reward of the night prayer. You may ask, if this prayer so profoundly purifies the soul and elevates the servant, what is its reward? The answer, its reward is unknown. It's unknown, and I don't think our limited intellect is able to understand the language or the number hidden by Allah Himself to His greatness. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said there is no good deed that the servant performs except that its reward is stated in the Quran, except for the night prayer. For Allah did not specify its reward due to its immense worth before Him. He said, their sides forsake their beds as they call upon their Lord in fear and hope. No soul knows what joy of eyes is hidden for them as a reward for what they used to do. The unknown reward signifies an infinite reward, for only the infinite can encompass it. Cause of being deprived of the night prayer. كمان في reasons why نحن محرومين من صلاة الليل. Why we are deprived of صلاة الليل. Many hearts long for the sweetness of the night prayer, yet their limbs do not rise. Their soul is yearn, but their feet remain Why? Imam Salih alayhi salam. He said, a man commits a sin and is thereby deprived of the night prayer. And an evil deed affects its doer faster than a knife cuts through flesh. Amir al-Mu'mineen said to a man who complained that he could not perform the night prayer, he said, you are a man whose sins have shackled you. He couldn't even stand up to pray. In another narration, a man may tell a lie and be deprived of the night prayer because of it. Lie. Or backbiting, or gossiping. Many reasons. A hidden barrier, self-conceit, ujub. And sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He knows that Him guiding you to pray Salat al-Layl, if it will create self-conceit, ujub, He will not allow it for you, because it might ruin you. And the moment you stand up like one night, I am the best of the creation in the world. I'm the best Muslim living here, because I'm praying Salat al-Layl, no one's praying it. The moment you feel you're higher than someone else, then you ruin that. Salat al-Layl to make you more humble. Listen, let me tell you a secret. Knowledge and spirituality is an endless realm, right? They said that muluk, this realm, compared to malakut, is like atom in this universe. And malakut in the Jabarut realm is also an atom in the Jabarut realm. And Jabarut and Lahut the same. And knowledge, we have Kimya'u, Limya'u, Himya'u, these types of different spiritual knowledges, doors of knowledge. When Prophet Ibrahim said, لِنُرِيَ إِبْرَاهِيم مَلَكُوتِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So we're giving him like an access to the real realm from this world. In a way, he uncovered the veils of darkness and he was able to see light. But that's not the end. Fi more. So now, if someone is taking that ship or that, in a way, plane and trying to travel spiritually, you need 20 years of Salat al-Layl. I'm telling you the truth. You need at least 20 years of Salat al-Layl to start, in a way, spiritually witnessing these secrets. And it's not an easy travel or journey. But why I started with this introduction? The more you know, the more you discover that you don't know. Right? But the more I know, the more I realize what I didn't know. So that will make me more what? More humble. The more I realize in what darkness we are in, because many people, they don't know we are in darkness. Unfortunately, that's the worst part. Allah kept saying in the Quran Hadith that we are in the realm of darkness. In Surah Ayat al-Kursi, He takes them out of darkness to light. But we are in darkness. The moment you are in blood, flesh, bones, you are in darkness. Majority of mankind, they don't know that they are in darkness from the beginning. The more, in a way, the more you realize how the level of darkness we are in, the more you become humble. Right? It's not about others anymore. It's about how much you did not attain and reach yet. Makes sense? There's some people, they think that knowledge is just a small room. So I know it all. Khas, I know everything. Then Allah did not unlock just a door for them to see a hallway of 10 different rooms. And He spent 20 years in one room thinking that they know everything. The moment Allah unlocked the door, they saw a hallway of 10 different rooms that they said, okay, I need then another 20 years in each room to be able to know just this hallway. And imagine they finished that hallway in 5 years. Then okay, they think, khalas, we know everything. Then all of a sudden they discover they are in a building of 10 different floors. Every floor has 10 different rooms. And the crazy part, when Allah unlocked the main door and they see themselves in a city filled with different buildings. And then realize more and more how much you don't know. Line of knowledge and light is endless. Endless. يعني أهل البيت, they are still expanding in that realm. There is no non-stop. يعني there is no stop for you striving toward perfection. But majority of us, starting with myself, we didn't make the first steps toward that. Because we are busy tricking and treating. We are busy just, I want to finish the NBA season, football season, soccer season. I'm not closed-minded. And at the end, enjoy, but no, there's priorities at the end. Fine. Benefits of the night prayer. The narrations mention countless blessings, physical, moral, and spiritual. Among them, repels disease from the body, heals and strengthens the body, brightens and beautifies the face, refines one's character, sweetens one's natural scent, attracts sustenance and abundance, settles debts and eases financial strain, removes sorrow and grief, sharpens eyesight, protects from divine punishment, comes from the spirit of Allah, brings Allah pleasure, adorns one with the ethics of the prophets, exposes one to the mercy of the Lord of the worlds, erases sins and cleanses what was committed during the day. And by the way, if you tell me, okay Sheikh, I have many of those, but I'm not praying Salat al-Layl, then know that your mother praying Salat al-Layl and praying for you. Know that your father praying Salat al-Layl and including you in it. Know that there is a teacher, spiritual teacher, he pray and he include you in the 40 believers he adds in those. But when these individuals dies and you're alone, then who will pray for you? You know? Like, a divine sin, when a servant rises in the night of prayer, sleeps overtakes him so that his head nods to his chest. Allah then commands the gates of heaven to open and says to the angels, look at my servant, what he endures to draw near to me with an act I did not make obligatory upon him, hoping for one of three things: a sin I may forgive, a repentance I may renew, or a provision I may increase. Bear witness, O my angels, that I have granted on all three. The beauty of the night vigilers. Imam Ali bin Hussein Zain al-Abidin was asked, why are the night vigilers among the most beautiful faces? He replied, because they have secluded themselves with Allah, so He has clothed them in His light. The homes of the night vigilers, the houses in which the night prayer is performed and the Quran recited, shine for the inhabitants of heavens and the stars shine for the people of earth. Hadith. The guarantee of provision, hadith, he has lied whoever claims that he prays the night prayer and still goes hungry by day. Indeed, the night prayer guarantees the provision of the day. The unspecified reward, we said that, and we have a lot of stories from our scholars that once they were taking Imam Khomeini to kill him in one of the trips, you know, Savak, the issues, old times in Iran. So in the car here, they were taking him and he said that they drove me toward the area where the lake is. And he know that if you went there, they kill people and throw them in the lake. So he was praying Salat al-Layl. He said, I was in peace. In the car, he was praying Salat al-Layl while they were taking him. He said what was interesting that I wasn't scared, they were scared. And look, Salat al-Layl gives you a high dosage of what? Of inner peace and tranquility and safety within, that you won't feel anything anymore. They will feel you. طيب, Allah the Exalted said, we said that verses, Allah said, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتَ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Imam Sadiq ﷺ said, the believer's prayer at night erases what sins he committed during the day. What a magnificent gift that an act performed in the quiet of night erases every sin committed during the day. The devout at night prays in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made a comparison. أَمَّنْ هُوَ قَانِتٌ آنَاءَ اللَّيْلِ سَاجِدًا وَقَائِمًا يَحْذَرُ الْآخِرَةَ وَيَرْجُو رَحْمَةَ رَبِّهِ. He's comparing that person to someone else. He said, is one who is devotedly obedient during the hours of the night, prostrating and standing in prayer, feeling the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord, like one who does not? That Zurara narrates from Imam Baqir. He said, I asked him about the meaning of this verse. During the hours of the night, prostrating and standing, feeling the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord. He said it refers to the night prayer, Salat al-Layl. Imam Ali emphasized, saying from the Messenger of Allah that he told him 3 times, adhere to the night prayer. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also in the Quran, He said, الصابرين والصادقين والقانتين والمنفقين والمستغفرين وبالأسحار. So He's giving the characteristics of the righteous, true, sincere righteous, those who beat it saying a long time ago, and nothing can affect them. That generation that Imam al-Mahdi is waiting for. He said, the patient, the truthful, the devotedly obedient, the charitable, and those who seek forgiveness at dawn. يعني بالأسحار before dawn. لأنه dawn when صلاة الصبح begins. But Imam Sadiq explained this noble verse saying it referred to those who pray at the time of dawn. He also said whoever seeks forgiveness 70 times at the time of dawn, Sahar, is among the people of this verse. But another verse, كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. In Surah Dariyat 17-18. They used to sleep but little at the night. And at dawn they would seek forgiveness. Shani little. You know, Islam and science go hand by hand. It's not that, you know, literally I pray, sleep 2 hours or 3 hours. It doesn't make any sense. But for example, you know, anyone heard about someone called Sheikh Hussein Qurani before?
Yeah.
One of the Lebanese truly mystics. And he's not, you can go search him on YouTube in Arabic. He has all his lectures, and you know the deep level that he used to speak with. And he used to go to the spiritual content, not just speaking surface level. He used to say once, it will make you laugh. I don't practice what he's saying, but I'm telling you straightforward. He said if you want to become Irfani mystic, and you want to, in a way, take that spiritual arc toward the highest of levels, you have to sleep at 8. 8 p.m. He said once, maximum 10 p.m. I had a friend in Hausa, that's his schedule. He sleep 10 p.m., wake up 2 a.m. 4 hours, then he prays Salat al-Layl, then he sleeps. Or he sleep 10 p.m., he wakes up, if Salat al-Fajr 4 or 5, he wake up hour before. And I witnessed him for a week. And we were in place for a straight week, and he followed his schedule. Then I used to wake after he wakes up in half an hour, and they see him praying before. And by the way, that friend, Sheikh Mohammad Taqibajat made adhan and iqama in his ears when he was born. Just like FYI. But subhanallah, and by the way, it's attainable, it's achievable. I saw a human being doing it. But if football will remain at 12 a.m., basketball, it will be hard. But at least, pray it after Isha. Pray it while driving home, Pray 4 units while driving. It's attainable. But the Messenger of Allah said, when Allah, mighty and majestic, sees the people of a town immersed in sins, and among them are 3 believers, He calls out, glorious and exalted be He, O people of my disobedience, were it not for those among you who love one another for my majesty, those who live in my earth and my mosques with a prayer, and those who seek forgiveness at dawn out of fear of me, I would have sent down upon you my punishment, and I would not have cared. That's part of God's justice. Protection from the punishment of the grave and the fire. Imam Rida alayhi salam said, adhere to the night prayer, for there is no believing servant who rises at the end of the night to pray 8 rak'ahs, and the 2 rak'ahs of al-shafa' and 1 rak'ah of al-witr, and who seeks Allah's forgiveness in its qunut 70 times, except that he will be granted safety from the punishment of the grave and the punishment of the fire. Allah boasts of the night vigiler to the angels that forgive them. We read this hadith before. 3, the night vigiler rise first on the day of judgment. The Prophet said when Allah gathers the first and the last of creation, Al-Awwaleen wal-Akhirin, a caller will call out, let those whose sides forsook their beds as they called upon the Lord in fear and hope stand up. They will stand and they are few, and then the rest of the people will be taken to account after them. How honored are those who forsake their beds for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, we said that beautify the face by day. It's not about beautifying the face in a sense that you will sleep in a certain face and you wake up in a different face. The idea, the secret of beauty is that when people look at you, how they will feel. It's not the idea how you actually look. We have a lot of scholars, if you put the so-called beauty standards on their faces, they might not match a lot of that. Allah, mashallah, we have beauty standards. Go spend $20,000, $30,000 to match that so-called beauty standards. But these scholars, these maraja, when you look at them, you feel naturally happy, right? Ajad, when you see a scholar, even when he's screaming, yelling, in a way threatening the enemies of Allah, still he's attractive. What is the secret behind that? It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. And you see those clowns in the political realm, those hypocrites, that they do nothing except for their own sake. And when you look at them, and you know how you feel, right? You feel it's a joke, yeah. So subhanallah, shattana bayna dhaka wa dhaka. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, I always like to make touch from Karbala. Shimmer, he didn't find anyone to give Hussein the final stab, they finish. So he sent someone, and he told him, go finish him, Ari'ur, let him rest. Then that person, he said, I came near Hussein alayhi salam while his face was covered with his blood. And I was distracted by the light of his face to an extent I forget about stabbing him. شغلني نور وجهه في الفكرة في قتله. The light of his face, the beauty of his face, even though it's covered with blood. Forgive my language, struck by stones, He said the light from his face made me distracted from thinking about harming him. But that's all the secrets of Ahl al-Bayt. Allah said in Surah Al-Fatih, سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ. It's not about having this black sign. Let me tell you a joke. In Hausa, they used to reveal some secrets. That there's, Allah forgive me, I know we're alive here. There's some scholars from the other sects. They bring a stone, they put it on fire, and they, in a way, just stamp it on their forehead to have the sign, because it's written in the hadith that you have to have the sign if you're a true believer. But the scholars were asking, many they don't prostrate on sajda. Then how they had it? You need to prostrate on sajda for a long period of time, for a really long period of time, for you to be able to what? To have the sign. Or you pray in open sky during the daytime, like Imam Zayn al-Abidin, long sujood while the sun is hitting the ground and it's hot, right? That's when you have it. That's why Imam Zayn al-Abidin, 2 layers of his skin will be changed every single year because of sujood. Sayyid al-Sajidin. But how someone have it and they don't even prostrate and they don't have these, Allah. So Allah said in Quran, their mark is on their faces from the trace of frustration. He replied, it means keeping vigil in prayer. Because of the night, what? Night prayer. You don't have to have a dark mark to have the sign. It's not about having any dark mark on your face. Your face might be completely fine. It's the idea Allah will give you that barakah, tawfiq within that When people see you, they see you attractive because of your faith, because of your identity. Another secret that, for example, نحن when we say Zainabiyat or Fatimiyat, right? We're in Fatimiyya nights now. What do we mean by Fatimiyya? يعني any female believer, her face will be backed up by the beauty of Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, right? With the faces of the believers will be backed up by the faces of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam. So any believer now will feel attracted. Makes sense? When you're actually adhering to this identity, preserving it, protecting it. Jibreel understood the Prophet and he said, "O Jibreel, admonish me." He replied, "O Muhammad, live as you wish, for you will die. Love whomever you wish, for you will be separated. And do whatever you wish, for you will be recompensed for it." The honor, sharaf of the believer is my prayer. And his dignity, izzah, is refraining from harming people. It drives illness away from the body, we mentioned that. It expands livelihood, increases provision, and prolongs life. A man's what came to Imam Sadiq complained about poverty, exaggerating until he almost lamented hunger. The Imam asked, "O man, do you pray at night?" He replied, "Yes." The Imam turned to his companions and said, "He has light." Because if he actually prayed, he wouldn't suffer from poverty. Abu Basir said, "I complained to Abu Abdullah of need and asked him to teach me a supplication for sustenance. He taught me a supplication such I have not been in need since I invoked it. He said, say after the night prayer while you are in prostration, Ya khayra mad'u, Ya khayra al-mawsu'." Afwan. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
يا أوسع من أعطى، يا خير مرتجى، ارزقني وأوسع علي من رزقك، وسبب لي رزقا من قبلك، إنك على كل شيء قدير. I'm bad in transliteration. I wish I wrote it in Arabic. صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Finally, two warnings about the night prayer. One, Satan's persistence in preventing the believer from the night prayer. Imam Abu Ja'far al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq, they both said, there is no servant except that he awakens once or twice or several times during the night. If he rises for prayer, then so be it. But if he does not, the devil persists until he urinates in his ear. We're not literalists. Please listen to me. We're not literalists. No one cut this part and put it on social media. Look what Shias are saying. This is all metaphorical. Metaphorical. Urinates in the ear, Shia. خلاص, you will wake up after. Just 1 second, 2 seconds. Yalla, keep your body. Now you will rise. These thoughts, we all have it. That's urination from Satan. Remember that. When you remember that, you will wake up. Trust me. If you keep that in mind now every night until you die, and you put the alarm to wake up for Salat al-Layl or Salat al-Fajr, and you're having these thoughts, and you remember Sheikh said that it's urination, you will wake up. So it's not literally. Make sense? Do you not see that when this happens to one of you, he rises heavy and lazy? Allah Azim. We're not perfect. Let me tell you some nights previously. I was struggling like a period of time in my life to wake up Salat al-Fajr. I put the alarm before. Normally I pray Fajr and it keeps snoozing 5 minutes. Wallah al-Azim. All night all that hour I'm struggling. When I see the app that set sunrise time, Wallah, at that moment I feel super light. I was feeling so heavy. At the moment sunrise hits, I have to do qada for Salat Fajr now, I feel so light, as if there is no any force on me. I believed in the present existence of Satan because of that. And now I believe in saying because I experienced such thing in a period of my lifetime. So just keep that in mind. And ما بعرف if any of you experienced something close to that, because it's true. Imam Baqir also said the night has a devil called Ar-Raha. When the servant awakens and intends to rise for prayer, the devil say to him, it's not yet your time. Then when he awakens again, he says, that's me. Before. He says, not yet. He continues thus deterring and restraining him until dawn appears. When dawn breaks, he raises his ears, then retreats swinging his tail proudly and shouting. Because he defeated a human being. How many of us have left that mysterious heaviness at dawn, that whisper urging us to stay asleep? These are the chains of Ar-Raha. The one who conquers them is the one who truly conquers himself. 2, the believer should never abandon the night prayer. Imam Salih ﷺ said he is not one of our Shias who does not perform the night prayer. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Any questions? Yes. But before you leave, I need to give you some practical recommendations at that. Go ahead. Salat al-Layl have different ways to pray it. We have narration that it's 11 units. 11 units, always mustahab prayers in Islam. Always you have to pray them like Fajr. Yani every 2 you end, every 2 you end. Any mustahab prayer in Islam, from A to Z, whether Salat al-Layl or another prayer, always it's prayed by 2. Like for example, in the night of Qadr, you have the 100 unit. You don't pray 100, you pray 50 Fajr, right? Every 2 you end, every 2 you end, and so on. So Salat al-Fajr 11, you have 5 Fajr and 1, right? So, but listen to me very well. The essence of each part of Salat al-Layl is different. So you have the first 8, they are called Nawafil al-Layl, yani like introduction for the true Salat al-Layl. The first 8. And then you have 8, and the heart of Salat al-Layl, the last 3. So the first 8, introduction, the heart is the last 3. Now, the heart is the 2 shafa' 1 witr. We said, 2 shafa' 1 witr. The 8, usually, you don't, like, there's no special way to pray them. Just Fatiha, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. That's it. All our scholars, they said, if you want to prioritize a surah, always choose Salat yani after Fatiha, always choose Surah Al-Tawheed, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. So you can pray 8 for Fajr, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and every 2 you end. Easy. No qunut needed, nothing if you're praying fast. The 2 witr 1 shafa', the 2 shafa' 1 witr. 2 shafa', you say Fatiha 3 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Nas, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. Easy. 3 Fatiha. No, let me just edit. Say Sistani said, for example, Fatiha and Qul Huwallahu Ahad for shafa'. So that's it. And there's no qunut for shafa'. Easy. There's no qunut for what? For shafa'. Then say Sistani scholars, other scholars say Al-Khamenei and other Maraji, they said, in the last 3, they are one spirit, one heart, but they are divided. You can't pray them like Maghrib. You have to pray 2 then 1. So even they said after you finish those 2, don't turn right and left. Like stand up and do takbir for the last 1. So it's like you're praying Fatiha, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, no qunut needed. The last rak'ah, the witr, you pray Fatiha 3 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. There is another recommended chapters, but this is the default way. So you pray the witr, Fatiha 3 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, 1 time Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. Now the details are in qunut. When you want to do qunut for Salat al-Witr, in the last unit, you do 7 times Ilahi hadha maqam al-a'id bika min al-nar. You do 70 times Astaghfirullah, whether Astaghfirullah or Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayk, or Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk, or Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, Rahman al-Rahim, dhul jalal wal ikram wa atubu ilayk. Anyway, istighfar. Then 300 times al-afw al-afw. You can hold the masbahah, you can hold the counter, You can hold your fingers. The best way, divide your finger threes. And every 10 fingers, 30. Right? Or you can divide every finger 10. Easy. 10, 3, 3, 3, 1. Or 7, 3, 3, 1. And you do 70 times, 10 fingers. Makes sense? طيب. And when you finish, you don't have to pray for 40 believers in Qunut. You can do it after you finish. The best version is to write their names and list them while you're praying, before you pray for yourself. Write them on a piece of paper. Or sometimes you don't have to always mention them. Like between you and yourself, and just go prioritize 40 believers. Write their names, include my name, Muhammad Ali. Write 40 names, and just keep that list there. Allah will know that every time you're praying for these 40. But we like the mercy to be everyone to contain and be contained in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah is realistic. I'm one being, and I'm one person. If I want to prove to Allah that I love these 40, I care about them, then just think about that every week you have to connect with them. The wallet is so hard, calling 40 believers, checking on them, that if every single one of us cared about 40, society will be secure. Right? But being realistic, I'm unable to call all my uncles and aunts, but if I really focused 40, let me list them, Ajad, I will really attain. It's a smart goal compared. No, don't pray for 40. Pray for everyone. This is a smart goal. Now, if you don't have time, Sheikh, be realistic. What should I do? Start with Shafi and Watr. Thursday nights at least once a week. Just that 3. If you listen, some people love to pray, they are fine with that. Some people it's heavy for them. If you can do them in Qunut, last unit, these Qunut, they take some time sometimes. The more you used to it, Salat Al-Layl entirely, fully will take 15 minutes. You know what 15 minutes is? Nothing. Wallah. Close your eyes over 15 minutes. But subhanAllah, why we're not praying it? We feel it's taking days. It's not 15 minutes. Go. If you want to try it, put time and see. Then at least intellectually you will see it achievable. But now I want to pray Salat Al-Layl. Don't start with the 11th. Pray the last 3 fully with the mustahab things. It's very hard for you to stand for a long time. Finish the prayer. Do 1 ilahi hada, or 7 times ilahi hada maqam al-adu illallah. 1 time astaghfirullah. 10 times al-afu. When you finish, continue them while sitting. Makes sense? But this is mustahab. You can edit the mustahab the way you want. But at the end, the most important part is to pray 2 shafa' 1 watr, despite the details in it. But Fatiha is main. Fatiha, Qiyam, Ruku', 2 sajdas. Like the form of the prayer has to be the same. But you can edit the mustahab, but it will still count Salat Al-Layl. Now, هلا أنتم build the habit. Build the habit. Depend on your schedule. Some of you barely wake up for Fajr. I will not ask you to wake up for Sahar. But if you used to wake up for Fajr easy, or some of you, your schedules, you stay awakened until dawn, you pray your sleep. Some of you are like that. I remember we were 18, But we still wake up for Fajr and then we sleep. Many scholars, they do. Some scholars in our community do that. It's been years. They wake up, they pray Salat Al-Layl, Fajr, and they sleep. Well, their day start at 11, not 8. But they stay until, so the clock is out, 10, 11 at night. But listen to me very well. Practically, after this workshop, we need to end it in an oath. Promise that at least the minimum, let us start praying Salat Al-Layl. After you pray Isha, even after Dua Kumayn or before Dua Kumayn, pray Salat Al-Layl in the night. Fully 11, if you're in the mosque. If you can, pray the last 3. 2 shafa', 1 witr. Makes sense? I believe, Ajad, the believer, the Shia believer. Listen, wallah, I know I was talking to a person that I respect, and he was recharging me to put more time on spirituality, and we're putting more time on education than spirituality now. But he told me every Shia believer has to have Ziyarat Ashura every single day and Salat Al-Layl, at least. Make sense? Those two are a must in the time of the major occultation for the Iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Any other questions? أحسنت حجي, thank you for adding that. الوتر, subhanallah, الوتر, if you can't pray Shafa' and Witr, so you can't pray the first 8, and you want to remove either Shafa' 2 or Witr 1, you pray Witr 1. That's the most important one. So for example, you're sleeping. Sometimes it takes time to sleep. If you're in the Q&A group chat, I will send tonight things to be decided before sleeping. Now, sometimes heartbeats, stress, it's hard to sleep. You have to do one of two before you sleep. Either pray while sleeping, pray Shafa' Witr while laying down. You can. Or there is Prophet Muhammad told Imam Ali to do 5 things before sleeping. You recite some afkar before sleeping. It will take like 10-15 minutes. It will knock you out after. Or read. Reading is very beneficial to help you, at least if you're in a very high level of stress, you feel that you didn't waste time. Sometimes 40 minutes, 45 minutes and we're unable to sleep. But read. Replace that time with something productive. So either praying Shafa' or Witr, or doing this Adhkar 300 times Al-Afu or 7 times Astaghfirullah, or Adhkar from Prophet Muhammad. If you build that habit, Wallah Azim, you will feel a huge change in the way you think, the way you feel, your steps in life, your perspective, your provision, sustenance, your خلينا نسميها your character, your personality, the positivity within, the energy during the day, it will all feel different. Yes? To be honest, the closer the Salat Al-Layl towards Sahar time and before Fajr, the more the sky is clearer spiritually. Listen, Allah hears us. But at the end, listen to me, Afan, Wallah, very important question. I need to answer this. Allah, He hears us all the time. But Allah created a system of cause and effect. If I knew when the skies will be spiritually clear, for anything I will say to reach, the effect will come. Sometimes the effect will take time, because Allah created the system, the spiritual system as is. I have to respect the system. Meaning, if I pray Salat Al-Layl after Maghrib and Isha, for my dua to reach the sky, it might take years compared to someone praying it at Sahar. Make sense? I have to respect time. At the end, again, why, for example, Laylatul Qadr is a special night in the year? Why these nights are special? It's not about, it's really the skies are more clear, spiritually. You know that when the angels descend to the earth, shayateen, they are fled, they leave, they escape, they disappear. In all the nights of Qadr, Salam hiya hatta matla al-Fajr, angels and Jibreel and the Ruh, they descend. They are removing, they are clearing the skies for us to be able to connect spiritually. You don't feel that why Laylatul Qadr is so light compared to the other nights in the year. No one tell me it's coincidence or we believe. No, really. You stay, man, until dawn time or 2-3 a.m. in the morning like it's something, nothing. We're not staying talking or coming. We're praying, Quran or dua or prayer. We don't feel anything. Why in other nights it's very heavy? Ask these questions so we can start understanding how the spiritual realm works. We're so, unfortunately, يعني we'll so مثل ما بقولوا attached to the physical realm. Questions?
Yeah, Sheikh.
Yes.
Would you ever consider doing like a night prayer for me, for example, I'm a visual learner. I have learned by doing things, by observing someone doing it. Would you ever consider doing it so in the future?
I had the idea to go inside the musalla and try to, in a way, we can pray shafa and witr if you want, but we can't pray jama'ah, mustahab prayer, remember that. Mustahab prayer is a bid'ah to pray jama'ah and a recommended prayer. So we can pray mutaba'a. Mutaba'a, we're following each other. We are all saying, it's single prayer for all, but we're following each other. But the intention is not jama'ah. We can do that. But inshallah, I promise you that I will make a video on Instagram about how to pray Salat Al-Layl in the fastest way possible, and I will just explain the shafa' and witr more in depth, inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Yes.
You mentioned how it can cleanse you of your sins. Can it also remove you from committing sin?
Yes. Let me tell you how it will clean our sins. And to think also about it spiritually. يعني meaning any sins for me, how it affect my soul? It make me spiritually complacent, lazy, heavy, more following. يعني lust and desires will be stronger than the intellect and the soul. My willpower will become weaker. Think about it in this language. This is the only language that I can explain it. So when I do certain sins, in God's eye, Allah doesn't see just the physical image of the sin. It's more about how it affects me as a human, my productivity, the way I think, feel, character, willpower, self-esteem, self-confidence, me accomplishing things, my energy to attain things in that sense. Right. Then the human is able to conquer the universe spiritually. That's why we are so weak now, lazy, barely I can stand to pray. It's all effects of sins. Now why Salat Al-Layl can remove more sins than other prayers? Now simply, if I forced myself to wake up at Sahar time or middle of the night, that require more effort from me or less? More. Then I'm regaining the willpower I lost through these sins. I'm regaining, reforming my self-esteem, my willpower, my character, my in a way authority, the intellectual authority over the desires or lust or other forces that I have within. So the more I need more effort to pray Salat Al-Layl. So when I put that effort, definitely it will remove a lot of side effects, spiritual side effects of sins, where it will lead to removal of the sins, as we call istighfar. Now, شو الاستغفار؟ استغفار regaining yourself. يعني شو يعني الله غفر لي drinking wine, God forbid, or gambling, or haram relationships. ما هولي كل هولي they caused side effects on my personality. For example, now I'm less serious, less responsible. I'm not taking afterlife seriously more. All people, when they commit sins, they are like that. They always negative, thinking about other people's mistakes. Oh, she did this, he did that. Trying to normalize their sins and give excuses for themselves. Salat Al-Layl will turn me to an individual focusing on my mistakes, on my weakness, on myself. Humble, positive, productive, higher willpower, more control on that self. مع أن مش narration, it will give you the akhlaq of the prophets. How it will give you the akhlaq of the prophets? Speaking now psychological language here. Akhlaq of the prophets, then I will gain more control over anger, desires. Eventually, if I have control over that, then I control my body, force it to wake up for prayer, then definitely when someone angers me, I will be able to control that anger during the day. That's the akhlaq of the prophets. Yes?
The anger that you have within you,
Oh, definitely it helps. Again, If I'm able to wake my body up to night prayer, then I have full control over that body and the reaction of the body and the thoughts and the feelings. But it's not from one night. Sometimes it takes years, but I'm moving forward. I'm upgrading. I'm gaining. That's what absorbing is. So that's at least one benefit of. At the end, let me tell you something also to add. Sheikh Panahian was speaking about this in a video. He said, we always using music for focusing, concentrating, for meditating. We always use music. We need silence. We need to try silence. And the only prayer that you're fully silent, try sometimes to sit in the night and watch those people and pray Salat Al-Layl from a distance. If an atheist sitting there, he will become crazy. Look, imagine our no voice. Someone in sujood. The atheists feel crazy. What's going on? How this person, he truly believes in what he's doing. On the ground. That's the physical image of it. But the one who is absorbing Salat Al-Layl, he's somewhere else. This world is so small for him or her. So small for him. Imam Hassan used to say, I saw my mother absorbing in prayer. If you want tawfiq, one of the greatest weapon of tawfiq for the children is the mother praying Salat Al-Layl and praying for the kids. So go motivate your mothers to pray Salat Al-Layl. Oh, I'm not kidding. Motivate them. Key to success. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Allahu Akbar. There is nights. Mish crying. You're crying at night. Mish you're heki. If someone's seeing you think that you're depressed. But wallahi, you're the most happiest person ever existed on this earth. Aslan, those are the highest dosage of the most happy moments that you can ever experience in this dark realm. All moments. All moments when believers, unfortunately we don't have that. Sometimes the voices, but few places, you go listen to Dua bi Hamza Thumani 3 a.m., not nights of power. Thursday nights. We have in the Muslim world, sometimes you speak to Holy, they have the keys to the mosques. They allow us to go sometimes at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., we bring a good reciter with us. We fly with him, Wallah Azim, it's moments that you will never, you will understand in daytime that you will be addicted waiting for the night time to go for these moments. At least Thursday nights, as we said. Ajarkumullah, I know it's close.
We have one more question.
Yes.
Sheikh, should we, is it recommended to pray loud or quietly?
No, whispering.
Whispering?
Whispering is best. By the way, especially if there's people sleeping at home, you can't wake them up. Your night prayer should not harm anyone.
Yeah, not too loud. I just meant like.
No, whispering.
Whisper. Okay.
Inshallah, after years, you will hear the voice of Allah. Yes. والحمد لله رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العلي العظيم. Pray it tonight just for the sake of applying what we said. والحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على محمد وعلى محمد. Guys, if anyone wants to be added to the Q&A group chat, please come. If you're not collecting that half, both are fine, depending on the mean. See, a lot of we can collect them, it's I think it's 100,000 for meaning, I think that no, 100,000 you don't have to do 100,000
You know the computer will work. The computer's in the box. Ask one of the brothers, maybe they
will.